Good morning, everybody. Yes, Ethel, happy Friday. Another one is here. I'm just amazed how fast every one of them keep coming. Man, time is flying again. All right, so we have a continuation pattern here. And I titled YouTube, Good or Weak Continuation Pattern. Well, in part, a continuation pattern is a continuation pattern. However, the location of a continuation pattern increases its probability for a size of a move or the lack thereof. And so the typical continuation pattern, this isn't your typical pattern to begin with anyway. Your typical pattern is one in which it would have broken these lows and then started the way up. And then usually around here is where you would have had some kind of move down, breaks a bars low and back up again. This move was anticipated and buyer stepped up at that pivot and up it went. And now we've got this continuation pattern. So in yesterday's MT Live, we talked about shock patterns, not really continuation patterns, but patterns in which, something happens is the unexpected. And to some degree, that's what happened here. Now, continuation patterns we define as one in which there's a break of a prior bar or bar's low, and it's immediately reversed. Sometimes it looks like a bottoming tail bar. Sometimes it looks like a bullish 180. Sometimes it looks like this, where it breaks down below the low and then it gapped up and it went up. So we had the break of a prior bar and this went up again. And this is a continuation pattern after this momentum move. Right? So another way of looking at this is a continuation pattern is one in which you get a measured move. You get the most minuscule type of a dip and it flips right back up again. Buyers are so aggressive that they're not even willing to wait for, let's say, the normal kind of pullback, which would have been somewhere around here, maybe the 50 MA, give or take. And so as we look at continuation patterns historically, is that they usually have a void. They usually end with a measured type of a move, which would send this way up there, but they don't have this directly to the left. Now, yeah, it might get through it. I don't know if it'll get through it with ease. And of course, today's Friday, so I highly doubt it'll get through it today. And if it does, it'll be probably a peekaboo because it's just, a Friday, just my thinking of what would be reasonable as a move with that resistance right there. But the historical patterns are one in which, let's say something like this setup, right? Has a little bit more of a bigger dip, but it flipped right back up again. And then you'd get a measured type of a move towards some resistance area. There really wasn't much of anything to the left here, but I'm just trying to explain the historical pattern that we look at. And this is not one in which you historically get because there is no void. You've got this retest pattern over here. So let's just open this up a little bit. And that doesn't mean it's going to fail right here and go back down, but it is what I think a highly probable situation. Why? Because when we talked about this being bullish and coming up, this is not following the historical norm either of a larger correction and coming down toward the zero line. Institutions are so, I don't know the word, falling all over themselves, feeling they just have to get in here. They're a bit complacent, I guess is the right term, especially with, the inflation and so on. But the fact that oil has been coming down is certainly helping. As far as interest rates going up, I don't think so. But anyway, so should this continue up and hold on to the gain today, of course, there'll be more call buying, and that will bring our breadth internal up in here, and this is already up above zero, but it should probably, I guess it should go higher, right? If we see strength, there should be good breadth today. Maybe I have a chart of that here. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so yesterday's up move, and you can see here, this is the day-to-day breadth on the way up, and that's great. It hit the red line on the way up, meaning the breadth was so strong it got to an extreme right off of the bottom. That's good. Now it's continuing to go higher, and you see the breadth here. You expect it to be down on a down day, right? Not a big deal. It wasn't down here at the green line. And so yesterday's move up was considerably lower. So at the end of today, if we should see a strong day and this is still not poking up here, that'll be a little bit more of a concern. And of course, the sentiment over here, this would dip down and this would come up here, and then we'd get, hey, be very careful about this thing going higher, and a continuation pattern. So we look at patterns, we look what's to the left, we look at market internals, we can look at intermarket analysis. So McGraw's asking me, is 485 to the top too close, 445 to the bottom? Okay, 1 second here. Step by step. Okay, so this is at 452, and it's just above here, a little bit of a gap up with what's to the left that we just spoke about. Right? It could continue to go higher. If we spread this over to look what's there, the way it came down here, there really isn't much resistance there. So it could go higher. And intraday, for a today move, that would be decent to, for this to get up here. Just, imagine the size of the bar opening up here and then continuing and closing up here. That would be fine. It wouldn't be unusual. All right. So looking at that, and we go to SPX. Well, let's look at S&Ps. We'll go to SPX, which we got the reversal there, continuation pattern. And I'm going to get all the way up there. I suppose so. 4,600, which, earlier, I guess at the end of I guess maybe the beginning of this week, my thinking was let this come down, the breadth, get down toward the zero line, the normal thing, and we get a move and then up to 4,600 area. Clearly, that is not happening. We're getting this continuation bear sandwich, as Dan calls it, on the futures. And so now it's supposed to continue to go up, and that's the next resistance area. So as we do 3 times a week, we look at these patterns and the S&P and the spiders, see where they're at, consider average range, where's the premium, and where does that put us? Well, this is what I've got here. What did McGraw have? 45.85. You're looking for some nice juice there. I went a little bit above to 45.90, which is right at the highs here. If this market is, to use the words of the prior Fed chair, irrational exuberance for a day, maybe it could get up there, Now, if it comes out of the blocks today and immediately fails, could it get down to here? Yeah. But getting up here, there's going to be sellers up there, or maybe even somewhere in between. So I think this would be okay. And 85 could be okay too, and we've got the same number for the bottom. You got yesterday's low as support, and then the prior day being there. But, the only reason it would go down here is if the markets open up as they are, and it's immediately hit with selling. It's not a big gap, but some kind of a gap and crap situation that, for whatever reason, being Friday, everybody wants to go home, or I don't know, that's kind of selling would come in. So yeah, if it keeps going up 45, 85, 100%. Yep. So I don't think that would happen. But one of the things to keep an eye on, financials, what's going to drive the S&P? So there's 2 ways to look at this. If the financials don't show some strength today, that upside SPX area should be safe because you don't have the financials kicking it in. If the financials are kicking it in, well, then the downside should be safe, because if you got financials joining, the strength that was happening in the other areas, which was tech, which, some degree, there's a little bit of a concern there. Can tech actually continue? Well, I guess it could with this kind of a pattern. Things are getting, do this program, when you put a bad symbol in, sometimes it just locks up, which looks like what had happened here. Damn it. And when I type it so fast, hold on. I'm going to have to, close it down. I wonder if this will work. Maybe not. I have to close it. What can I go to here? Just finish up. Well, I'm not going to be able to look at other futures markets, but let's go to this. Well, that thing has a little panic attack there. All right, so other thing. Let's look at USO, which is still coming down a bit. And of course, the markets are liking this, a little breather from the move up in crude oil. And gold down a little bit. I kind of like this pattern. I kind of hope that the markets do hold up today and gold just sits here. This would be a great pattern to take out this high if it closes red like that for a continuation move up. Silver, similar pattern there. And what I could look at for Bitcoin here. Anyway, got messed up with this program dying on me here. It won't even shut down. Hold on. Okay. All right. I'll continue with this here. XLF. So I would suggest, where is this? 39, that's the same thing. Set an alert up here. If XLF can get back up there and KBE is showing some strength, which obviously it's not yet, but if this is moving up, well, then SPX should have some drive behind it to continue to go higher. And you can see the ETFs here, the Qs are coming in a little bit. And what I was meant to type before was Apple when it gave E-signal the heart attack. But I mean, come on, how much more can something like this go up before it starts getting some profit taking? And that's the problem with prices moving too far, too fast. And now things can get out of hand. These things are either going to get out of hand here on the downside, or we're just going to, I assume, sit through a longer period of going nowhere as it consolidates the gains. So I already showed you the internals there are near an extreme. So, and looking at the transports, well, that little pattern there, will this, something, these airlines, can this is not your typical continuation pattern, but it's going sideways, it won't break. So if this can clear these highs and the transports are moving up, and that's just another positive for the broader markets. And breaking below this low, I know this is just one airline stock, but should we see, and it's moving up, you're already coming in. We start seeing transports start to fail and banks going down. You want to keep an eye on the exit. So all yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero DTE Day. Yeah, so yesterday into the close, I said I was bullish for day trading. Swing trades are very difficult for all the reasons Greg said. We've still been doing them though, but with different, more bullish setups instead of things just a vertical. And so I showed you. We've been doing a couple bottoming patterns. Yeah, I got Facebook on my radar here. I've been going sideways. I love the weekly. It's a 1, 2, 3 with a big void. Pins, Greg mentioned yesterday, bottoming pattern. It takes out the week's high. Looks good. So you see, this is totally different than spiders. You know, straight up at resistance. Of the 4 horsemen, I like the Qs the best. And I don't know how far it'll close. I remember saying in the green room yesterday that if we close bullish, then, you know, and that was before this afternoon jaunt again, then my target was, you know, 363 to the 200, somewhere in there. All right, we have a couple call spreads that expired today. Amazon, we have a half lot. Tesla, so they're both going to be down at the open with the overnight time decay. Oh, AMT, let's see, that was another beautiful new trade because it's been going sideways here. We bought it like right here, so wow, it was up $2 pre-market. Shoot, so now we're back to being flat. But I myself did a 118 making put for today. What else? We had 2 shorts. They're fine. Monroe is one of them. Look at that. It's a big old descending triangle that cannot bounce. That looks fantastic. You know, MJ yesterday, right here. You all remember in the green room when Stan was talking, I said, MJ's ripping here, scan the sector. Look at that. That is a big move in an hour, an hour. And then today's cap up. At least we got this one, GRWG. Let's see, this was a beautiful pattern. And it triggered with the red bar breakout. So we're up already over 10% in one day. So we might sell some or leg into a covered call. Put that in a window and keep an eye on it. eBay was on our list yesterday. Yeah, that wasn't right. So that's another great example of a new trade setup. These things that are going sideways and rested with a bullish weekly. Exactly. Oh, GME is another call spread we put on yesterday. So again, it's the 160s, so we're $20 away. And, you know, I'll tighten the stop here. I guarantee we're already at a small open profit, but I guarantee you it's going to be a big open profit once we get the options market opened up. Now let's see what I got over here. Curry. Looks horrible. So this was a sell setup. Even it had a deep retracement, took out a prior high, but that's a sell setup with a breakout failure, bearish close. I just don't like shorting $3 stocks, but I'm showing you the pattern. This sell setup, but this is power. I personally don't like shorting in the power. And I've never heard of this thing, but if there were $16 calls, That would be a call spread candidate under yesterday's low. Maxim. Now this would be a candidate if it would just keep going sideways here at resistance and then break out. Target would be the 200. Hey, John. Boeing was in the news here today. I don't know about what. I don't know. This pattern can go up or down. I don't know what to do with it. Smart, no pattern. MCW. It's a sloppy buy setup of a bottoming pattern. A Neo. Delta Neo had some order delivery information, up and down, no pattern. Sky T for Delta 20. Yeah. Yeah. So see, this is kind of what I mentioned a moment ago about, bullish price action after at resistance. And now you have a closing breakout. There's not a great void, but there you have it, folks. That is a W bottom on the weekly. I mean, it didn't have a very big pop here, but down, up, new low plus, range expansion, breakout. So that's worth watching. Yeah, John, you nailed that. That Google 1DTE put spread. What do we got here? This is my girlfriend, Jessica Alba. Her poor IPO. Wow. Her IPO. I think she's better off making movies than whatever this company does. Look at that, gapping down to all-time lows. Whoever's managing her company is not doing a good job. Look at this. So this was a bottoming pattern. And Greg mentioned we did MT Live on shock patterns and red and green bars ignored, etc. What a beautiful example of that. Look, gap reversal, red bar ignored, 180 reversal, greater than 100%. This is a little bull flag consolidation. That's a nice, that would have, it's gapping here and it's extended on the 15. But took out Wednesday's low and then closed with an engulfing range expansion. That's a beautiful pattern. I love that. BBBY, there's some news about some guy trying to appoint some new board directors, but there's no good pattern there. Oh, there's Hunst again. D. Now this is sloppy, but it's still bullish. This is bullish consolidation on the 20. You got rising 50. You got big old bottoming tail, breakdown failure. You got a bullish weekly, monthly. That would be a put spread candidate. Hey John, see what's cooking on the $80 puts on that. China stocks back in the news. Yeah, you need a big disclaimer or warning if you trade these Chinese stocks, as they are gappers. So JD here gapping down. So these could now be call spread candidates. The 70s here, John, on JD. Look, there's two big old topping tails that got rejected. PDT, sloppy pattern. AMD we looked at. Did we give a put spread in this yesterday? Because I had it loaded up. I guess I didn't post it, but AMD, yeah, that's a put spread idea for next week. Here's our little marijuana stock. You know what? We got a huge gain. Well, it depends what time frame you want to trade. This is marijuana. If you're going off the weekly for bigger gains, then you got to sit through a pullback on the 15-minute chart. But because I think 12-13 is in the cards, so I'll give it a little leeway. Avgo had the closing breakout yesterday. That's a put spread idea. Disney under the lows. Let me set an alarm. I'm just eyeballing it, 137.80. AFCO looks good. eBay looks good. These are some that Greg mentioned. Marvel had a closing breakout. Hey, John, did you check Marvel yesterday for put spread? I mean, things are coming in here a little bit, so I'm not going to rush into things. Yeah, all the four horsemen are coming in here. Particularly when they're giving up this pre-market thing, we're going to, settle down, but it's a definite put spread idea. The old shack. I wish it didn't run so much, but that maybe is a day trade, 30-minute high. LRCX. Sloppy. I like AMD and Marvel better. And Facebook coming in, but I like that. There's our pins. I have an alarm already. Checkpoint. Looks good for a breakout. Ascending triangle or even a little symmetrical triangle. All right, let's look at our credit spreads. I got them ready to go. All right, so our Tesla is 2 cents. Tesla's 2 cents. All right, I said bid 1 cent.